Hey, what's shaking YouTube? I'm here with my buddy Juan.
What's going on, guys?
And we're gonna do the Mr. Beer home brew kit. So I got two of these. I got them both at my local Savers for about 10 bucks each. If you buy these new, I believe they're like 50 bucks or something. But it's really cool. They come with all the bottles you need to bottle your own beer. They come with the thing you ferment it in. They come with the malt extract. So everything to get you started to make like a case of beer, basically. Super cool. It is going to take a month. It takes 2 weeks in the fermenters and then 2 weeks in the bottlers. My dad is like an expert at this. I did one of these a couple months ago, but I totally messed it up. And he told me that I'm an idiot, everything I did wrong, so we're going to give it another shot. We got the Long Play IPA, and then we also have Diablo IPA. So there's a couple steps to these. It also comes with a DVD with step-by-step videos on how to do it. We've already watched that. This is actually my second time doing this. The most important thing on this whole thing is the sanitation process. It comes with this no-rinse sanitizer powder. It's over there. I'll show you that in a minute. But that's the most important thing. So first we're going to go over to the sink over there. We're going to use the no-rinse sanitizer. I'll show you how you do that. We're going to sanitize all our utensils, everything we're going to use. And in a month we'll have some good beer.
Hell yeah, beer.
Hell yeah. Okay, so we have to sanitize every part, anything that's going to touch the beer at all. We have to sanitize. We're going to use this no-rinse sanitizer. But this is going to take a little bit. So while we're doing that, we're going to actually heat up our malt extracts. All we're going to do is we're just going to run just as warm as your tap water will get. Fill it in the bucket that you're going to, or the pot that you're going to use to heat up the malt extract with the water. And just use that one, or really anything, it doesn't matter. Just heat up something where it's just going to get it nice and warm. That way it's a lot easier to pour out after. And also too, you're going to want to use some type of silicone spatula to get everything out of there. So you're going to want to get that out because you're going to have to make sure you sanitize that as well as anything you're going to stir or anything like that. So all our utensils that we need to sanitize, we're actually going to put them in here. There's actually some crap on this thing actually. Let me get that off before I put it in here. Okay, we are going to sanitize everything in there. So this is going to be our thing we use to stir it. That, and then also if you're going to be using a measuring cup or anything, mine won't fit in there, so I'm going to have to just pour some of the sanitizing solution into that. You notice right there, we got that good and warm, so we can turn that off. We're just going to let that sit. Okay, now this is the one we're going to use the sanitizing solution in, and then I'm just going to pour my sanitizing solution from that one into this one, and then we should be good to go from there. Okay, so I'm going to let this fill up. I'm going to open up my no-rinse sanitizer, and you make sure you don't just rip this crazy because you're going to have to save this. You're going to have to save the other half for when you sanitize the bottles 2 weeks down the road, and it's time to bottle everything. So I'm going to pour half of that in there. Okay, and you only need to fill this about halfway up. Okay, so that's about half of my container, so I'm going to save the other half. Okay, then you're just going to want to stir it around until everything dissolves. It's already pretty much dissolved in there. Okay, so I'm going to re-sanitize those. So I'm just going to set those over there for now. I'm going to take the top because you're going to need the top of your thing to be sanitized as well. It's okay if it leaks. This isn't supposed to be airtight because it does need, the gases need to escape during fermentation, so that's totally normal. So yeah, so I'm just going to swish it around a little. Okay, and I got that all good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to transfer it into my other one. This is only because I'm doing two at once. If you're not doing two at once, you don't have to, you can totally skip this process. But because I'm doing two at once, this is also a good way to check to make sure my spout works and everything. Seems to be working fine. Alright. If I open the top, it actually comes out faster. Okay, so that's working. That's good. Okay, so I know we got a tight seal there. And that was also too, so I sanitized the nozzle and everything a little bit. Okay, so now I'm just going to let this air dry a little bit, and that is 100% sanitized. I'm going to sanitize my other top. And the same thing. I'm going to give this a little shake. I want to sanitize the nozzle, so I'm going to let a little out of the nozzle. There we go. Okay, then I want to make sure my utensils are good and sanitized. I'm going to pour some of this in my measuring cup. But other than that, once this air dries, this is all pretty much good to go. I'm going to wait about another 10 minutes for this to heat up, and I'm not going to pour out the sanitizing solution because I'm going to use this solution on this pot before I fill it up with the water that I'm going to add my malt extract in. And I'm going to save a little bit of it because I'm going to have to do two. I'm going to have to do them as separate batches. So I'm going to save enough for also down the road. So if you want to save your sanitizing solution, you could pour it in an empty, gallon jug or whatever, so we're going to let this heat up a little bit, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay guys, so I sanitized this pot, and then I filled it with 4 cups of water, and make sure your measuring cup you also sanitize with your sanitizing solution, and make sure you use spring water, not distilled water. Then I took the top off of one of my IPAs, so this is the Diablo IPA, and also make sure you sanitize your spatula, because this is very thick syrupy crap. You're going to have to really use a spatula to get it all out. So I'm going to let this come to a boil. It's going to take a couple minutes, and then I'm going to turn it off the heat, and I'll add that, and soon enough we'll have our beer started. But I'm going to let this come to a boil, and I'll see you guys when that starts boiling. Okay guys, so we are coming to a boil here, so I'm actually just going to move it here because this is an electric cooktop. I'm going to have to just move it because the heat doesn't turn off right away. So I moved it off the heat. Now I'm going to pour in the malt extract.
Just like to point out that it smells amazing.
Yeah, this actually smells way better than I was anticipating. And if you buy one of these Mr. Beer kits like at a thrift shop and it is expired, it's okay. The malt extract is usually fine and you can still use it. You just have to get a new yeast packet. Like this one is slightly expired, so my dad gave me a brand new yeast packet from the beer store he always goes to, and he said it'll be 100% fine. He said he always uses these when they're expired and they work just fine. But you want to make sure, because the yeast actually, it does expire. Okay, so I got out as much as like humanly possible, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So now I'm just going to give it a light stir. Just incorporate everything. You don't have to go crazy here. And it actually smells really good. So I'm going to just let this incorporate for another like 30 seconds or so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it, the rest of that gallon, minus the 4 cups of this, into the keg. Add this to there, and then I'm going to add more cold water. And I'll show you guys that step here in a minute. Let me just continue to, let this all come to like one smooth mixture. It's still very syrupy on the bottom. I want it to be like a nice, smooth, homogeneous mixture. So it's not really separated. So give me another 30 seconds to a minute of stirring, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, now we are going to take that same gallon that we used for the malt extract. It's just your gallon minus your 4 cups. So I'm going to pour this in here, and then we're going to pour that mixture, and then we're just going to add more water till it gets to the appropriate fill line. Now make sure your spout is on the closed position when you do this. Otherwise you're going to have one mess on your hands. Okay, so I'm just getting enough in there to mix all this together. Then I'm going to fill it up with more cold water till it gets to this 8.5 mark. Okay, but now my mixture has all came to one smooth mixture here. Okay, so Juan, I'll let you know if I need your help, but I think I got this.
You can grab the spatula.
I think I got it. Okay. Oh, I spilled a little, but surprised, not that bad. Okay. Now, you might have on the bottom of your pot a bunch of syrup and stuff like that. Now, don't let that go to waste. Take your silicone spatula. Yeah, make sure you use silicone too, because it is heat resistant. It won't melt out in there or anything. Okay, yeah, you want to just get all that good stuff in there. Beer. There we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, we'll give that a little stir there. Now remember, I'm doing 2 batches, so I actually saved some sanitizing solution because I'm going to have to re-sanitize that pot. Okay, but then Juan, anyway, you can hand me some cold water out of the fridge. You can mess with the light, it's okay. Okay, so now it's at about this 6-quart line here. So here, I'll zoom in so you guys can see that. Okay, yeah, thank you. One should be good, I think, for now. Let's see. I might need 2. So this is very cold because we gotta let the temperature of this get lower before we add the yeast. Otherwise, it will mess it up a little, which was another thing I did the first time I did this. Which I'm glad the first time I did this I didn't do it on camera because it was a lot of me trial and error. Okay, so it's coming up there. So it looks like it's gonna take about just about 2 gallons. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the rest of this gallon. So I'm slightly over, but that's fine. You just want to be right around that 8.5. Okay, so you only need 2 gallons of water to do this. Okay, so now I'm going to take my top, and since I'm doing 2, I made sure to label it. This one I got a D on it for the Diablo IPA. Okay, now I'm going to let this cool down a little bit because it has to come to about 70 degrees Celsius, or sorry, 70 degrees Fahrenheit before I can add the yeast. Otherwise, the yeast will be too hot. So, like, let me show you, for example, what it's at now. It might, actually, it's 74. So, it's probably actually cool enough. That's why I made sure that water was in the fridge. But I'm going to let it sit for another 20 minutes or so before I add the yeast, just to be safe. So, I'm going to put this over on the kitchen table there. I'm going to sanitize that the pot. I'm going to do the other batch, and we'll come back when they're both ready to add the yeast. Okay, final step is I just got to add the yeast so they both come down in temperature. They're around 70 degrees. And if your Mr. Beer's not expired, use the yeast packet it comes with. If not, there's lots of good beer companies. You can type in just beer yeast, beer making yeast. And this package I have is enough for 2 of the, or for double the size. So I'm just going to use half in this one. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Half in this one. Yeah, and it's not Rocket Appliances. You're okay. Okay, so I'm just going to put the top back on. Oh, actually, no, I'm going to give them a little stir. What am I? I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. And this is the same utensil I've been using. Remember, any utensils you put, anything you touch, anything to do with the beer, has to be sanitized with that solution or it can mess up the whole beer. Just gonna give it, doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna, you just want to just stir it in a little bit. Okay, so that's good. Got a little bit on the top of my spatula. Come on, get off there. Okay, well, oh well. And then we do the same thing here. And then I'm just gonna put these in my closet. I have a closet that it's like regulated around 70 degrees, and you're gonna want that. You want to have it in a cool, dark place that maintains between like 65 and 75 degrees. And certain beers are better at different temperatures. So you're gonna want to keep a log too, and like it comes with a log too. You can fill out like what your conditions where you kept it in and everything. Just so you know for next time. But me and Juan got a little bit of video games to play because we got a lot of time to kill. So
Hell yeah.
we'll be bottling them in 2 weeks, drinking them in a month. So see you guys
See you in 2 weeks.
In a minute. For you, it'll be 2 weeks for us. Alright guys, everything is sanitized and ready to go. I got all the caps in this container that I also sanitized. Yeah, so now it's time to add sugar to the bottles and get to filling them. So I'm going to bring you guys over here so you can see what I'm doing a little better. And this is getting exciting. Okay, here is how I got this set up. So I got my Mr. Beers right here off the edge of the table so I can just fill them easily. And then I put a little pan down here in case I dripped anything with a towel. Also too, because this cane sugar I'm using is a little messy. If you were just using the drops, you won't be nearly this messy. But I'm just putting 1 tablespoon of just regular, good old-fashioned cane sugar, like I got right here. You can see it's very cheap from the store. And yeah, so I already put some in a couple of these, but here, let me demonstrate again. So I'm just taking about a tablespoon and just that much, and I'm just putting it in here. And it is kind of messy. It's a little thick. It's kind of like brown sugar. If you're using regular white sugar, it would be a little easier, but I like this, and my dad recommended to try this, so I decided, you know, Might as well trust the guy. He's done this before. So then once I got, you know, about a tablespoon of sugar in there, or you could use your carbonation drops or whatever, we're going to fill it up. This one is the long play. So you just open up the valve. And you want to stop when it's about 2 inches from the top, so we got a little more here. Okay, gotta slow down a bit. Should have poured it on a little bit of an angle there. Okay, I mean that foam's gonna die down. I'd say that's about good. Alright. Now, you actually can give it a little bit of a taste right now. You probably shouldn't drink it directly out of the bottle, but I'm not gonna, whatever. Actually, I mean, it's not carbonated, but this beer actually tastes pretty good just like that. Okay, so this long play one, I'm actually really excited. Right now, it doesn't have that really, like, really hoppy IPA taste, but it definitely has an IPA. It's kind of almost like a more refreshing IPA. Actually, these long play ones, I think I was going to do a white. I'm going to do white tops with these so I can tell the difference. Oh, I can't use that one because it already has the bottom part. Okay, we're doing black, I guess, for long play. Yeah. Okay. And here, then let me get one with that I can put a white top on, like this big one here, and this will be the Devil IPA or whatever. So same thing, I'm gonna put, these are a little bigger bottles, so I'm gonna put a little more sugar in here. Also too, the more sugar you put, the higher the alcohol content will be, but also too, it might carbonate more, so you gotta be careful you don't overfill it if you put more sugar in there. That's something my dad told me. Alright, but that should be good. Okay. Right. Better too much than not enough, you know, nice and alcohol-y. Okay. Filling up good. Again, this is the Diablo IPA, I believe it was called. Alright. Ooh, slow down there. Okay. Same thing, I'm going to give this a little taste test. Okay, so this one definitely tastes redder. This one tastes more like a mix between an IPA, like your standard IPA that's not that super hoppy, with like a Killian's Irish Red. This definitely tastes similar. In this right here, it's kind of similar to a Killian's Irish Red, which is a beer I like. So, okay. So, these ones, I'm going to try to put all the white tops on, but I'll probably end up writing a label on these. Okay, so that's really it. You're just going to do that till you get to where it's just like the wort and stuff. You do not want to mix this up. You just want to let it go until it's just the gross, you know, the wort. You'll see. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill as many as I got, and I'll show you how many I get when I'm done. But yeah, so let me just go ahead and do the rest of these, and I'll be back. Okay guys, so here's how much beer I was able to make with 2 of the kits. These are all the Diablo IPA, and this is the Long Play IPA. So now is, you know, another waiting game, the hardest part of this whole thing is just waiting around. So I'm going to put them back in the same environment that I fermented them in. I want it to be between 60 and 70. I have a closet that's just connected to my bathroom. It's not facing any outside walls, so it stays nice and around 65 degrees. So it's kind of the perfect dark climate for it. So I'm going to put them back in there. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, back with my buddy Juan, and we'll get to tasting these. Very excited. I think it's turning out very, very good. Okay guys, so it has been 31 days because it took me an extra day to bottle it, and then it's been 2 weeks. I've had them sit, 2 of these sitting in the fridge all day, so they're nice and cold. We got the Diablo IPA with the white cap, and we got the Long Play IPA with the dark cap. So, yeah, we're back. Juan's back.
What's going on, guys? Ready for some taste testing.
Okay, so
I'm ready.
Carbonation, I think, worked.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not crazy carbonated, so let's see how it pours. So here, this is the Long Play.
Pretty good. Not too foamy. Looks amazing. Carbonation is looking great.
It's actually.
Look at that.
Hopefully it tastes good.
Yeah. Look at that. That looks beautiful. If it.
Okay, alright, I was worried about it not being carbonated, but it actually has a nice head on it. So here, let's try this first, and then we'll try the Diablo IPA. But cheers, brother.
Cheers. Oh my god, that's great.
It's actually pretty good.
That's really good.
For being a beer made.
Yeah, for being homemade.
It's pretty good. It's a little bitter, but it's like an IPA, yeah, you know? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this was the long play. The alcohol content, I do not know, but it's got to be a little high. Instead of the capsules, I used pure cane sugar, which increases the alcohol content, so it does have a little bit stronger alcohol taste, right?
It does. It tastes like a 6 or 7 maybe.
Yeah.
Percent.
But actually,
That is good, man. That's
not
good.
bad. Okay, let's try the Diablo IPA. This is a darker ale. Kind of looks similar. They're both IPAs. I wish I had something other than an IPA to test, but
That's looking really nice and dark too.
yeah, it is definitely darker than the long play, and nice and carbonated too. Okay, see, when we compare them, it is definitely darker in color here. Smells kind of similar.
Yeah.
They're both IPAs. They're both Mr. Beers.
This one's. Wow.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. This one,
Wow.
I like this one a little better,
Absolutely.
but this one's a little stronger tasting too.
It's a little hoppier too, and I like that about this one.
Yeah, this one, it's
really
got
like it.
kind of like a nutty taste, right? Like kind of
Yeah.
like a Guinness type.
Absolutely. It's surprisingly good.
Yeah, like I don't know, like this is like the simplest home brew possible. It's just like some random kit you buy at Walmart or whatever.
How long did it take us to make it?
A month.
And like in the kit, like to make it from start to finish in terms of like when we started with the heating up, and how long did it take you to heat up the cans and everything?
Oh, like of work? How long
Yeah.
of work? Probably altogether 45 minutes the first day. The bottling was like 20 minutes. So maybe like a little over an hour of actual work. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely worth the amount of work
Yeah.
you put into it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and this is the cool thing about this too is I feel like this is like kind of like entry level into brewing. Maybe somebody buys one of these, they learn how to brew beer, it gets them into the hobby, and then they get like a real professional homebrew kit, you know, or like whatever. But I think this is cool because it's like something you can get at a lot of local stores, and it can introduce you into home. Like it's just cool that I made that. Even if this beer, it's not. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the best beer I've ever had. It's good though. I mean, if you like IPAs, it's pretty good.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not a big IPA guy,
For a
but
homebrew, 45 minutes, hour to an hour of work. It's good beer.
And-
It's good beer.
okay, and it is
Okay.
obviously pretty strong because like I drink regularly, and I've only drank like this much, and I'm starting to feel a slight buzz like already. Are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little buzzed. I'm not gonna lie.
So here, I'm gonna go back to the long play. Let me give it a big pull. You know, yeah, it's very chuggable. It's a
Absolutely.
little strong, but actually not bad.
Yeah, I really like this dark one. I really like this dark one. This dark one is.
Yeah.
It's really nice, man. It's really nice.
But overall, if I was gonna give this like review this kit, I'd say totally get it. If you can find them, like I found it at my local Savers. It's like a Goodwill type store we have around here, and it was $10 and it had all the stuff in it, and it got me into the hobby. And it's really cool. So if you guys like this video, let us know. Maybe we'll start doing more homebrew videos, or you guys want to see another Mr. Beer, we'll get a different flavor, or maybe we'll try making our own, using our own stuff, but using the Mr. Beer thing. Hey, let any ideas you guys get, let them know in the comments below. We're gonna cut this video before we get too drunk, because we don't want to do that on YouTube. There's kids watching. And I guess we'll see you later. Cheers.